can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. I just been living online, my city don't show me no love and that's fine. Fuck local radio stations, I got more plays than all of these rappers combined.
What's up, everybody? I'm super excited for today's episode. We got an amazing guest. I mean, when you talk about entrepreneur, athlete, movie star, business owner, super excited to have this gentleman here with me today. I can't wait to hear about his story, because a lot of times we hear all these successful people, they're doing all these amazing things, and we just feel like they just got there. Right? They just appeared there. They rubbed the genie and they got there, but that's not true at all. Successful people put a lot of hard work in. And I know for this guy to have the success that he has right now, he has to put a lot of work in. Right? I'm super excited to hear about his journey, what he's overcame, where he's from, all the struggles, all the challenges that he's overcame. But more importantly, I want to know, how was he able to apply his knowledge and his skill sets into his circumstances to change, his life. That's what I'm excited about, because I know that's something I can use, something you can use, and it could be another recollection for him to be able to boost him up too as well. So guys, with no further ado, I'm super excited to welcome our amazing guest today, Mike Schill, in the building. Man, Mike, I know I just gave you an introduction, but I'd love for you to introduce yourself to our audience and let them know a little bit about you. Let them know a little bit about, who you are.
Yeah. Hey, listen, first things first, brother. I appreciate you having me on, and anybody who's listening to this thing, salute to you. My intention before we get started is only to provide a little bit of value and just show what people in the trenches are dealing with every single day, because I'm in the trenches. We're in the muck. We're fighting. Shit. We're on page 1 of like a book of 453 chapters in life, and we're just getting started. So, everything that we talk about here today is, well, bro, it's the stuff I'm going through yesterday and the stuff I'm about to go to right after this thing, right? But I think that's what makes this real, and that's what will be impactful. And I think that's what will be the most beneficial thing for the people and myself and just everybody in general. So with that being said, my name is Mike Schill, CEO of the Full Circle Agency. We are a digital marketing and advertising firm located down here in sunny Miami, boy. And if you don't know, now you know, bro. Miami's a beautiful thing, man. We specialize in retention marketing, though, right? Increasing the lifetime value of consumers with data from product-driven brands who have a strong and dominant presence as it relates to their e-com. Some of the companies we've currently worked with or have worked with in the past include, eBay, Lions Not Cheap, Kimber, Acubo, Tectonic, Lightsall, Tentacle, pretty significant brands and names. And our goal is to build a freaking $1 billion organization, man. Like that billion is real. The trillion is the thing that you should be really seeking, because this billionaire thing, it's going to become more and more and more real as we continue to progress the next 20 and 35 years. I think that billionaire, I guess, target, right, is going to be more and more and more attainable. We just got to be thinking that way. Prior to opening up this agency, we've been rocking for about 2 years. Prior to opening up this agency, had the opportunity to work alongside a gentleman by the name of Grant Cardone for 5 years in sales and marketing. And that in and of itself was a whirlwind in the sense of understanding sales, understanding what true work is, understanding what true systems and processes are, and being able to see a fund, just a real estate fund, go from 17.5 million to over 4.2 billion in under 5 years. It really is a testament to what can be achieved. And I'll be forever grateful for that opportunity. And by the grace of the man above, was granted that opportunity and ran with that mofo. Like I ran with it, like hard. Went to college at Florida State University, had an opportunity to play a little bit of, Division I football over there with Bobby Bowden 1 year, Jimbo Fisher for the next 3. And bro, there's so many things you learn from that as well. And then, starting as a little kid, man, we were adopted into a family. And I think that process, that was that rooted yearning for growth, and that rooted yearning to just go with it, man, and to go seek it, right? Like even if it's not good in the beginning, that don't matter. Right. The only thing we don't have control of is the day that we were born and came out of our mother's womb. After that, bro, it's all on you. So you got to go
Absolutely.
and bro, I'm just excited as hell to have this
Absolutely.
conversation with you. So
Man, man, that's so amazing. I mean, you've had some great leadership in your life. You know, anybody that gets that is where you are, you've had a lot of great leadership from Grant Cardone to Jim Fisher from football and all
yeah,
those coaches at Miami. Tell us about growing up. What type of leadership did you have? Because I know you said you were adopted.
yeah.
How was that, growing up? Have you always had this confidence that you've had, or did somebody steal it in you? Because, being adopted doesn't really give a lot of kids confidence. Why do you have
Yeah.
this confidence right now? How did that get instilled into you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, the leadership as a child, obviously, it stemmed from my father and his work ethic and him being a leader within the family. And I think it's so important to have a father figure in life. You know,
Yes.
it may go against what's preached today and into shit in 2023, but bro, you need a father figure.
You
You
need
need a
one.
father
Yeah.
figure, and there's a man and a woman, and that's what we are, right? And it's just what it is, folks. And hey, you can bash me over the head if you don't like it, but hey, if it's in the Bible, we'll rock it.
Man, man, that's a
So
fact.
I need my father, that was huge, and his leadership and his work ethic was massive. And then look, being adopted, yeah, maybe that instills a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of lack of confidence. I think the thing that overshadowed that was we were constantly moving. In a good way, not a bad way. We went from, I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, man, and then we moved to or adopted into a family. They were in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right? Then we went to
Oh, wow.
Knoxville, Tennessee. Then we went to Melbourne, Florida. Then we went. I mean, after that, then Florida State, and then the rest is where we are today. But I think that moving aspect subconsciously built that determination to thrive in any single environment that you're in, especially as a kid, bro. Like as an adult, it's one thing, but as a kid, you go from school to school to school to school. You go from city to city to city. You go from, Catholic school where you're wearing uniforms to public school, inner city, where you got to walk through 3 metal detectors, get in. Like, bro, we've been through it all. We've seen it all. And I think that right there allowed for you to build that interactive identity, So you have a lot of the moving, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. Obviously, my father, and then, bro, you know, just sports in and of itself and
Wow.
competition,
That's
and
amazing.
you have 3 or 4 of those things, and I think that's kind of where it all started as a child, if you will.
That's so amazing because I came from West Africa, Liberia, and I moved here to the United States. And I was always bullied because of my lack of ability to speak proper English or fit in. So at an
Yeah,
early age, I was able to acknowledge the gap between me and everybody else. And I think me knowing, acknowledging that gap, and then also realizing where I wanted to be really drove me to get to where I am right now. So when you were growing up, what types of gaps did you notice from everybody else that maybe you didn't have? Because you travel all around. I know you've seen a lot of different things, and
yeah.
I'm sure that helped you kind of learn to fit in, helped you with sales, helped you with communication. Because you have to communicate, you got to adapt to different people all the time, right? What types
Bro,
of gaps did you acknowledge?
yeah. So we addressed the elephant in the room right up front, right? This is and some of the places that we lived, was predominantly black, and some of the places we lived or went to school was predominantly white. I mean, it just is what it is. It's just
Yes.
Miami's different. Down here, we call this thing the most northern tip to South America, bro. There's anything and everything down here, and bro, I
Everything.
don't even know if I see a white person down here. Like it's crazy. There's so much culture down here. It's crazy. But
That's so true.
in
I
the
was just there.
yeah, it's crazy, man. Like half the time I speak Spanish down here. I don't even speak English down here. But what I will say is that in the other parts of the United States, it's real. You got your predominantly black communities, predominantly white communities, predominantly Hispanic communities, predominantly Polish or German or Russian or whatever the case may be. So obviously, as a kid, when you're in a community where they don't look like you,
Mm.
I don't want to say that was a negative or a positive, but obviously that was a gap. and a gap in the sense of, okay, it's a different culture. They do things differently. They communicate differently. They value different things differently. They express themselves a little bit differently. And so, having to build an understanding as to, bro, you need to be aware of where you're at and who you're around. And I'm not saying you got to change who you are, but what I'm saying is you got to be cognizant of what the hell is happening in front of you, right? I use this example. If someone only knows Spanish and you start talking English to them, they ain't gonna understand you. It ain't their fault. It ain't your fault. They're speaking a different language. It's the same situation just with people in and of itself. And so that gap obviously huge. But again, a great thing, not a bad thing. As far as any other gaps, I mean, obviously you have your social gaps, you have your economical gaps. Obviously, you weren't raised and had billions of dollars and millions of things to fall back upon. So just that rooted understanding that hey, there are people out there who have a shit ton more, but
Absolutely.
it is attainable. You start to realize that. Bro, I remember as a kid, I would attempt to hang out with all the families that I knew had a crap ton more than we did, only to, and I didn't even realize I was doing this, only to network with those kids and get to know the parents and understand like what it is they did. Like straight up. Like I don't even, it's wild to think that I was thinking like that at a young age, but I was really like that because I'm like, okay, well, I need to know what's good. So building that gap there and just being introduced to different things, I think that's huge. And then
That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah. Go ahead.
How did you, when it came to you getting to D1 football, right? Because I play football too as well, right?
Hell yeah.
What are some tools and how are you able to utilize where you're coming from in your situation, and like how did you get to D1 football? How did that happen?
Man, listen, I know it's crazy, but this is the part of the story people don't know. I didn't even play football until college. Didn't even play football.
Wow.
I started playing at Florida State. I was more of a track guy. We were more basketball. And then, believe it or not, we were actually ranked in the United States for Taekwondo and supposed to go to the Olympics to fight. Like, we just chose a different route, me, my brother, and my sister. So, the college football thing was crazy. It was crazy in the sense of this, right? It was crazy in the sense of this. You go into an environment where everybody is fast. I'm fast now, y'all. Don't get it twisted. Everybody can lift weight. Don't get it twisted. I'm strong too. But everybody's been learning and nurturing the practices and skill sets of a game for the last 15, 16, 17 or so years. For me,
Wow.
I remember being in that seg room day one, and they're talking about the Mike Will and Sam linebacker, and I didn't even know what the hell was going on with the Mike Will and Sam, and I'm a DB, bro. I'm a DB, and they're talking about fronts and zones, and I remember turning back to my guy Nick Moody, who went on to play for the 49ers, my guy Terrence Brooks. We were around just savages. We were a very good team, and just asking them general questions and then being like, bro, what are you talking about? How do you not know that? I'm like, dog, I don't know any of this stuff. So that ramp up was one of the hardest things to do. But again, it taught me that it can be done. That skill set of studying a playbook, that skill set of having a coach, having mentorship, having a structured schedule. Like all those things you still use today. And I reflect on those past experiences, and I'm incredibly grateful for them. Listen, ain't nothing like playing in front of 95,000 people.
Man, nothing.
I don't know what else can even come close to that. Ain't nothing like playing on ESPN. I mean,
That's
and
amazing.
hey, they see that last name and it's showtime, and you got to click it on, and bro,
I love that.
it was an incredible experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love that. So coming from Florida State to playing football, what led you into entrepreneurship? Because I understand there's so many athletes out there, and they don't realize they make great entrepreneurs, right? When did you realize that, okay, maybe man, I could make millions of dollars. I could change people's lives. I could be great. Like, when did you realize that, and how did it transition into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so I realized that not after sports, but I realized that after my like second or third job, right? I immediately went right on into sales after sports, had a knee injury, unfortunately, and ACL, MCL patellofemoral ligament. Had to go into sales. I remember my first job role was just cellular sales at a Target, man. Crazy to think back. And that wasn't even too long ago, right? In the grand scheme of things. And then went into orthopedic and pharmaceutical sales. Went to number one in that organization in under about a year and a half. And that was strictly based off work ethic. I still wasn't necessarily thinking entrepreneurship. But after that role, I went and worked alongside Grant Cardone, right? And that was where everything clicked as it relates to, okay, you got to understand this sales thing. This sales game is everything. And I think when you can confidently say that you can sell at a very high level, that gives you the extra push, the extra fire to go ahead and take that step into entrepreneurship. You know, I don't think that entrepreneurship would be real for me if I didn't have a strong understanding of sales.
Yes, straight absolutely. Up. And I got the honor and the pleasure of going down there against some mentorship from Grant. So I actually went to his office down there in Aventura, I believe. Mm-hmm. I went down there in his office, got to meet him, and he did one of his workshops with us, and that was fantastic. I mean, the energy there itself is just fire. You know, when they do the morning meetings, those are fire. And every company needs a morning meeting. I'm like, man, I need to go back and start doing these morning meetings too, because these are fire. Tell us some ups and downs and some lessons that you learned from working with Grant Cardone, and how maybe that shaped, you know, your whole thinking. Because I mean, dude's making millions and billions of dollars. You know, how did that shift your beliefs even?
Yeah. So the ups and downs as far as working with GC, you know, I wouldn't say there were any downs. I would just say that in the beginning, you think you know how to sell, and then you get into that ecosystem and you don't. You think you know how to present, and then you get into that ecosystem and you don't. You think you know how to follow up, you don't. You think you know how to communicate, you don't. You think you know big level talk, big level thinking, you don't know nothing. Like straight up, you don't know anything. And I think the first 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, I mean, back then we were still calling paper. Like, we literally had a cardboard box. We had product orders. They were called POs. And someone would order like a book, and we would we would see what they ordered. I would call their cell phone number, and everything would be cold. It wasn't like it was today. You know, that was 7 years ago. Like that, it was a different ballgame for that brand at that time. So it took some time for me to close my first deal from start to finish. I'm not talking about setting appointments. I'm not talking about hopping on demos and seeing people consummate deals based off the relationships that I initially instilled. I'm not talking about that. But from start to finish, y'all, I think it took me like 7.5 or 8 months. 7.5 and 8 months from start to finish. Now, granted. You were not able to do your first deal. You had to go through stages of development until they allowed for you to even happen to that role, that opportunity to close. But that was a 7-8 month process. So 7-8 month process. Everybody around you is making $500, $600, $700, $800,000 a year, right? Making hundreds of phone calls every single day, doing the exact same thing that you're doing. And they're getting wins and you're getting nowhere. And bro, that can be a mind, you know what, because you're doing the things that are necessary to get the results that everybody else is getting, but you're not getting it. And then all of a sudden it clicked. And so that was the number one thing, that down when you're around people who are winning and you're doing very similar things to the people who are winning, but you're not getting traction, you know, you can either quit or you can keep going. And you know, there was so much work going into that. Like there was so much work going into that I knew that it was bound to happen. It was just a matter of when. They just had more ups. They had more experience. You know, then you fast forward and becoming the top producer within this organization on the team. You know, you look back on those first 7.5 to 8 months and you're like, damn, that was the fight. That was the grind. But all of a sudden it started to flow. That would honestly be the only down. The only down was getting that traction and realizing just the amount of work ethics that is required to fill your pipeline to close deals when you're in the beginning in something new. And that's with a brand. That's with leads. That's with millions of dollars of marketing. Now you transition to entrepreneurship and you ain't got none of that. And you still got to do all that work. And then you got to do all the stuff that they were already doing for you that you didn't realize at the time. That's the mind you know what today. But there, that was the down. You're right. The ups, bro. It was like the Harvard School of Business for sales and marketing. I mean, I learned something new every single day. I mean,
wow. What advice can you give to salespeople? Because there's so many salespeople that's going to watch this. What advice can you give them when they're going through those downs and they are just not closing deals and they feel like, man, everything I'm doing isn't working. Everything I've learned isn't applying. And I always talk about that click, right? So it will click. Everything is compounded. What advice can you give to some sales reps out there who are going through maybe a new venture, a new journey, or maybe they're in the journey right now and they're not getting the results they're looking for? How can they overcome that?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, we can't predict the future, right? If we could predict the future, we would be the man up top. You and I'd be worth a couple trillion and we'd probably be on our yachts in Greece right now. Unfortunately, that ain't us yet, right? But what we can predict are the things that we do every single day to eventually get us to the promised land, to eventually get us to that result. So for any person who's getting started, for any person who's in the sales game and maybe you're not getting that initial traction, like what can you control every single day that's going to allow for you to at least develop? Like, do you understand your sales process? Do you understand the objections that are hitting you? Do you know when you need to set the appointment? Do you have follow-up strategies up into the appointment so you actually get an appointment show rate? Like, when are you presenting price? What type of executive decks are you sending over? What is your presentation? Do you have trial closes? Are you transitioning from selling to closing, or do you stay in selling and sell yourself out of the sale? Do you have negotiation strategies and techniques? Like, what does your fulfillment process look like? Are you asking for referrals? Like, there's so much as it relates to sales. And if you're studying that every single day, and if you have a process to develop that every single day, even if it's for 15 to 20 minutes, you are going to get better. The only other thing I will say is, when you're starting, it's the same situation for me right now. The majority of your day needs to be on client acquisition. The majority of your day needs to be on the phone. The majority of your day needs to be face to face. Working for 1 hour is not working. If you map out all your time and you really figure out how many times you're in front of people or the amount of time you're actually having a conversation with somebody, I guarantee you, half the people listening to this thing, they're only really doing that for 45 minutes to an hour every single day. Bro, we were averaging 450 phone calls in 6.5 hours of talk time every single day, Sunday through Sunday. In 1 month, we were doing more talking than most people do their entire life on the phone in a sales role. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like that work ethic, it's gonna hit. But realize that you can always go more. You can always do more, and making sure that you're studying on your craft and making sure that you actually have a playbook for your craft is massive. Because I don't know any football team who's won a national championship, who's won a Super Bowl, who's won anything that didn't follow a playbook. You got to have a playbook. You got to have a playbook. So just keep going and keep fighting, man, because it's going to happen. But go, bro. Go, bro, and get out of your own head, bro. Get out of your own head. Get out of your own head.
That talk time is so amazing that you're talking about talk time because, when I went to Grant Cardone, he's saying they're doing minimum of 4 to 6.5 hours on the phone call per day. They're getting hundreds of hours as a team, thousands of hours as a team on a daily. It's like no wonder, success leaves clues. That's the clue right there. It's the work ethic. And we underestimate that. New salespeople come in, they call for 45 minutes, and then they, like you said, they feel like they worked hard. They talk on the phone for an hour, they get on a couple conversations. A few people say no, 50 people say no, and they just think that's it for the day. It's like, no, call. So now I love that advice. Acquisition is so important. So when you left Grant Cardone, right, when you started leading on Grant Cardone, what was next for you after that? When you took all
Yeah.
that knowledge, all the expertise, what was next for you?
The next thing for me was opening up the Full Circle agency. And it's been let's say it's been a roller coaster of a ride. There's been a lot of ups and a lot
What
of
what
downs.
is what is that?
Yeah.
Tell us what is the Full Circle agency?
Yeah, so the Circle Agency is my marketing firm, right? And again, we specialize only in retention marketing, email, text message, loyalty, and subscription for large product-based brands. We do anything and everything from the campaigns, the workflows, and the entire build out and structure to ultimately build a community and get people to come back and continue to buy more and more and more and more and more through education, via entertaining and via value, not necessarily just, hey, buy now, buy now, buy now, 30% off, because that doesn't work in today's economy, in today's marketplace. So that's what we got going right now. But that transition was real, and we, you hop into it. Luckily, my ability to sell is, I mean, let's just say I'm very confident in my ability to sell, right? But the thing that I will say that I immediately realize is just the importance of a brand. And in that if you don't have one, that's
It's gonna be
everything. And
it's everything.
it is literally everything, bro. If people don't know you, it's physically impossible to do business with people. We were always taught that, and you attach yourself to a brand that's so strong. Sometimes you fail to realize that even though you're attached to it and you're winning with it and you're getting byproduct results from it, that is not your specific brand. So the transition in my mindset was, okay, now I got to build my last name. I got to build my brand. I got to get in front of as many people as possible. I got to be attached to anything that could get me on the stage in any way, shape, or form. Like, now I'm building my last name. And so been the biggest learning curve. That's been one of the biggest areas of focus. And I just cannot emphasize that enough. The importance of building a community or building a brand, even if you work for somebody else. Like, bro, this brand thing. I mean,
Yes.
there's a reason why McDonald's is McDonald's. It's a shit
Man,
burger, but they're on
so
every single
important.
corner. Yeah,
So important. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, people gotta to know who you are because they might know who your competition is. People don't
yeah,
just buy from people that can help them, that has great value. They buy from people who they know and who
yeah,
think they exist. There's some things out there that I want and I need, but if I don't know the person and if I know somebody else, I'm gonna go with somebody else because I know them. I don't know someone else exists. Sometimes we don't even know better even exists out there. Some people don't even know the grass is greener on the other side. So having a brand and people know who you are, and not just know who you are, know what you have to offer is everything. All right. So tell us, I know you have a movie out there. This is so fascinating, right? Because a lot of entrepreneurs are not Mike Schill, because Mike Schill got a top movie out there. So I'd love for you to tell us about this movie that you got and
no,
how it's doing, some of the numbers, what's it about. Would love to know about that.
yeah, man, yeah, man. And listen, this movie thing is another brand play, yo. But the thing is, I love it, and I think that when it's all said and done, the number one thing I'm supposed to do is entertain people in a positive way. And bro, when the mic's in front of me, when I'm on the stage, it's game over. Like, it's just, I know that's what I got to do, and we're finding our way through that vehicle. But the movie was incredible. The executive producer, an actor in Lanier movie, and it's actually inspired by true events. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, from Georgia originally, and there's a lake there called Lake Lanier. And in 1912, there was a thriving black community that actually got flooded due to some accusations, right? Completely
Wow.
flooded and wiped out. And, yet another story like that in the United States of America that gets swept under the rug, just is what it is. But since that time, that lake has been haunted. Since that time, the most wildest things occur in that lake, and everybody knows about it. If you're from the Southeast, area of America, bro, you know about Lake Lanier. Like you know about it. Like it's an actual real thing. So what we did is we tied that story in Oscarville into a horror slash thriller film. It doesn't take place back in 1912. It takes place today. It's about a family that visits the lake and gets exposed by their ancestors and so on and so forth. And we absolutely love it. We're currently on Amazon Prime. We're currently on Tubi. We're negotiating some other deals. We were just featured on The Shade Room. That did wonders as it relates to our numbers. We are on Georgia Followers. You know, we're on 11 and Live News. We're trying to work something with some other people as it relates to like the Breakfast Club and so on and so forth. And we're just trying to get that story out there. It's entertaining, and it's been a wild journey. You know, the biggest thing I learned from it, continue to learn from it, is just the importance of marketing. You know, we're at 3 million minutes streamed on Amazon Prime. It's been on Amazon Prime for less than about 3.5 to 4 months, right? And we need that thing to go to 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. But the only way that we're able to do that is through strategic marketing initiatives. So the movie's one thing. Now it's getting it out there because we ain't Marvel films. I don't have 150 million to throw against advertising yet. So we're bootstrapping this thing and we're making this thing work. And it's just been a constant focus and push on how do we get this thing in front of the right audience? How do we get this thing in front of the right people? And I think that goes back to business. I think that goes back to you. Like, it's not about the product or service that you represent. It's not about you. When you're on stage, it's not about you on stage. The most important asset in anything is the audience that's watching, right? Right. A motivated buyer is the person that you want to be in front of. The person that you solve a problem for is the person you want to be in front of. People that love horror films or the Black community are the people that we need to be in front of. So that's what we work towards every single day. Be on the lookout for another movie coming. You know, we got a documentary that we're going to be shooting here. And bro, I'm going to be all over, bro. I'm talking paparazzi. It's coming. It's coming.
That's fine. Man, God bless and God willing. Man, I want, what are some marketing tips here, right? Because you work wonders when it comes to marketing, not just in generating leads, but when it comes to getting the attention for a movie, you know, helping other clients out in their marketing. What have you learned, or what are some maybe top 3, top 5 things that you've noticed in this marketing space that you spent so much time researching, learning, developing, experiencing? What are some good tips that you can give us?
Yeah. So just know that marketing is everything, you know, and we were always taught it's not the best product that wins, it's the best known product that wins. And so when you're marketing, you know, people can connect faster with the face and the voice than they can a logo. The first thing I would say as it relates to marketing is open up your mouth, show your face. It's so much easier to identify with the person than it is to identify with a picture, especially when that picture is unknown. As a human, you can touch more senses and just make your brand more real. But you got to go on camera, bro. You got to go on camera. If you own a business, get your people on camera, whatever it is. That's the first thing, right? The second thing is, you know, marketing is everything. But how do you really drive revenue for an organization, especially if you're product based, right? You got to have a multitude of things to offer to people. You got to have a multitude of things to offer to people, because the where the real dogs play in business is they you know, you're able to get somebody into the door, but then you're able to offer them 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 other things, right? Other than the big ticket sales like real estate or so on and so forth. That's a different ball game. But what I'm saying is, like, how many things do you have to offer to your people, both that they can buy and just free value, bro? Because this marketing thing is like, you got to show that you care. You got to show that you care. So how are you retaining people once they get introduced to you, your brand, your product, your service? How do you continue to get them engaged? And And when we double and triple down on those strategies, what are you saying to your people? When are you saying it to your people? Right? And why are you saying it to your people? Just ask yourself that. You cannot communicate with everybody the exact same way. So you got to understand that, hey, when I'm building my personal brand, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to speak to entrepreneurship. I'm going to speak to the grind. I'm going to speak to training and working out. I'm going to speak to my being a father and having a son. I'm going to speak to all those things because that's real. You got to make yourself very, 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 very real. And we were always taught people believe what they see, not what they hear. So show people. And you got to show people what's up. You got to show people what's up. This marketing game is massive. And what I will also say is sometimes you got to pay to play.
Yes.
The organic thing is great, and always do the organic thing. But bro, double down sometimes, bro. Like you got to pay to play. We did a post. For instance, we did a post about the movie on the Shade Room. And yeah, it cost us a little bit of money, more than a little bit of money. But because that was the right audience, I think we're at like a 15x return for that initial investment in under, I think it's been like 12 or 13 days, and it's still hitting. And so that's a testament to the fact that, bro, you got to invest in marketing and advertising. Just make sure you're investing it into the right niche, the right community with the right audience, and it will pay dividends. But you got to pay to play too. Because listen, if Nike's doing it and Apple is doing it and you ain't doing it, there's something wrong there. They pay hundreds of millions of dollars every single month to market. They don't even need to market, and they do. So if they're doing it, bruh, you should do it. Just like if you play hoops, bro. If LeBron James is doing it, you should probably be doing it too, bro. Like it just is what it is. So you got to pay to play sometimes. You got to pay to play. Those are maybe the top 2 to 3 things that come to mind when you say marketing, both for personal brand and as well as for a product or service or whatever it is that you're attached to.
Wow. And I know earlier when we first started the conversation, you were talking about billions of dollars. So tell us, what's next for you? What are some things that you're looking to accomplish here in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years? What's next for Mike?
Yeah, to be a New York Times bestselling author on the cover of Forbes, worth $4 billion, home base in New York, able to provide 10 million foster kids with homes, to be part owner of a football team or baseball team, to be the world's #1 entertainer and an entertainment mogul, to just be an incredible father, and that when I die, that every single person, every single news channel across the entire planet stops and recognizes what's real. Like that's what I'm shooting for, yo. Like that's it. Now I write that stuff down every single day. I think about that stuff every single day, right? But how do you do that? What's the next 2-year, 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan? Listen, this entertainment thing is massive. We've got more movies coming out. We've got more documentaries coming out. We're going to be on TV more, and just get my voice out there. That's always going to be #1, right? #2, and equally as important as #1 is, we're going to grow this. We're going to grow this marketing agency to something special. This retention marketing piece is something that we continue to perfect. But where we see in our vision over the next couple of years is for us to bolt on a department that owns its own brands. And as opposed to providing retention marketing for big brands, we're going to provide retention marketing for the brands that we own. And you know how we're going to do it? We have all the data. We know how consumers buy in outdoor recreation and in apparel and in cosmetics and so on and so forth. So we're just gathering that data. We're gathering that information, right? And then we're going to start our own brands on the side and do the exact same thing that we know is winning, bolt on those brands into our evaluation as it relates to the company, and exit at some crazy multiple and rock and roll. Like that's what we're going to do. That is the goal. That's the vision. Are we there yet? Hell no, we ain't there yet. Bro, we're barely 2 years into this thing. But I think it's important to know where it is you want to go so that when you get on the road, you got some sort of direction. And that's how we're going to do it in the agency world, and that's how I'm going to do it in the personal world. And whichever one hits, it's only going to lead to the other one hitting harder. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. So that's what we got right now. And of course, multifamily, so on and so forth. I'm already investing in the multifamily, but now you start getting into those big boy acquisitions, those big boy conversations, and that those are the tables I need to be sitting at.
Hey,
though, so
Grango, I don't know how Grango feel when you start buying the block.
hey, boy, you better be happy, bro.
Yeah. It's going to be like, damn, I gave this guy 2 months game. I need back pay.
Hey, I'll say this.
No.
It's one thing to get data, right? It's one thing to get data and information. It's another thing to use it and apply it. But then it's another thing to be disciplined to apply it over and over and over again. Because just like we talked about in the beginning, you never get traction until you do.
Until you
For
do.
real. So.
Absolutely. So tell me, Mike, where can people find you? Where can people find your movie? Where can they find you? And how can we support your vision, your goals, and your dreams?
Yeah, man. You can find me on social media. Listen, Mike, Mike. The last name is Shill. S as in Sam, C as in cat, H as in hat, ILL as in Larry. Just look for the black guy in the suit, straight up, bro. That's my profile picture everywhere, and it just got to be like that. And I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. Definitely heavy on LinkedIn right now. We're on YouTube as well. I think it's Michael Shill on YouTube and the Mike Shill on TikTok. And where you can find the movie's on Amazon Prime right now. The movie's on Tubi right now. We're making a massive push for Amazon Prime, so go ahead and check it out. Would love your feedback. Would love just the continued support, especially within the Black community, yo. Like, if you're listening to this thing and you shy, you look like me, check it out. It ain't a Marvel film, but it's damn good. And this is our first one of many, and we're just exposing the stories that get swept under the rug. Hundreds of thousands of them that we don't even know of and we don't even hear. They've been trying to take us down forever, bruh. It's just never going to happen, though. It just ain't never going to happen, right? And so take a look at that. And yo, if you're listening to this thing and you get some value, just follow, support, watch the come up, watch the story. When it's all said and done, it's going to be incredible. That's how you can support. Obviously, if you own a brand in apparel, in cosmetics, in outdoor recreation, right? If you own brands in those, reach on out. If you have a high e-com presence and are looking to take that thing to the next level, if you're a business doing 1, 2, 3, 4 million, and you're trying to get this thing to 5 to 10, and you've got a multitude of products to offer to people, you got a number of SKUs, reach on out to us. We are working with some of the biggest companies in the world as it relates to retention marketing. This is not a joke. This is not a gimmick. We will build $1 billion brand doing this, and we love for you to hop on board if you fit that avatar. So those are a couple ways that you can support myself. Follow the movie, go ahead and watch it. In the business, bro, if you fit that category, would love to have a conversation. We promise we won't waste your time. Only will provide value, and we are very damn good at doing it.
I love it, man. I feel good, man. I mean, guys, Mike's energy is contagious. I can feel it all the way up here in Minneapolis and Minnesota. I was actually just down in Miami, man. I wish I would have knew you were in Miami. I would have linked up with you, man. I was just down there like a couple days, like 2 days ago. I was down there for some time.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was down.
Yeah, bro. The next time you're down here, come through. And listen, I may be speaking up in Minneapolis or somewhere around there, like very soon. So we'll tap in, bro. We'll tap in. For sure.
Yeah, let me know. I'm gonna definitely get some more people up there too as well. Let's do it for sure, man. Thank you so much, Mike. You've been a blessing. You've been a blessing to the world. You've been a blessing here to our audience today. And we honestly wish you the best, man. And we're going to continue following your journey because we're going to hold you to it. We're going to hold you to it. We're going to watch your movie. We're going to support your movie. We're going to hold you to those billions of dollars. Man, we're going to hold you to that success because we all know it's inevitable. It's going to happen, right? And we continue to send you love and blessings towards your way too as well. Man, thank you so much, Mike, for hopping on here, giving us your energy, giving us your wisdom, your game, and also giving us your trials and tribulations, how you were able to, end up where you are. You didn't just appear there, right? You went through a lot of things, right? You're just like everybody else, but something was in you that triggered and made you into who you are today. But then you believed in it more than anything, right? You always had this intuition that you're going to be great. So thank you so much for sharing it with our audience, man. And we can't wait to have you on next time and see what other movies you're dropping, other documentaries you're dropping, help you promote those things too as well. So appreciate it very much, Mike.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. No, listen, I appreciate you, man. And I appreciate every single person that's listening to this thing, and anything that y'all need, reach on out to me. I'm here. And it's been an incredible conversation, man, straight up. So thank you.